This week on Bravo's Love Hotel.
One's kids. It's not bad.
Can I ask you something?
What?
Can you give me a little grace when we speak?
No, listen.
There's no
Wale,
negative energy coming from
Wale,
me.
but I'm saying
when you
I
talk
don't
to
want
me,
you to think that
I don't think you're saying negative stuff to me. When I say something to you, take.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to be recapping Bravo's Love Hotel, Season 1, Episode 5. Let's get right into it.
Back.
So, yeah, I already know I'm loving this fun little show. So, last week, Shannon called Earl to her room and handed him a card. We saw him open it and he burst into tears, and we didn't get to see or hear what was in it. They kind of wanted to make it seem like she was sending it home, but I told y'all I wasn't gonna fall for that, only because I saw him on other little previews that we still had not seen. So I was like, yeah, he's still going to be around, so he's definitely not going home. And I was right. So, as y'all may remember in last episode, Earl had revealed to Shannon and to some of the others that he was married. The first time he was ever married, his first wife had a son already. So Earl raised this little boy as his own. He truly loved him as if it were his own biological son. But when he split up from his first wife, she took the son with her and never allowed Earl and the stepson to see each other ever again. So Shannon actually reached out to some of her contacts back in California, and I don't know how they were able to do it so quickly, but they found Earl's stepson. So in the card that she gave to him is the son's name, full, legal first and last name, his email address, his phone number, if Earl wants to reach out. And that was amazing. He was so happy. He was so surprised. And this is the Shannon that I love. She was happy that he was happy. And that's truly something amazing and very nice to do. So yeah, he was very thankful. When they went downstairs, everybody was waiting because they knew this was going to happen. So they were there to celebrate for him. And it just felt very special for Earl. He was moved. He was moved to tears. He kept hugging Shannon and thanking her. And I hope that for Shannon, this means something, because we know that she has had her doubts and she has her eye out on Adam, even though Adam doesn't really seem to want her. He seemed to be more into Luanne, but he was questioning Shannon quite a bit about her doing this for Earl. And maybe he was just genuinely curious, but it came across a little envious. So then they all gather around, and the host, Joel, tells them that this whole day is about relaxing and enjoying each other's company. They have to solidify what they have with who they have it with, because tonight there will be an elimination. Bachelor Nation style. So that's going to be something. So after that, apparently Adam has decided that he does want to explore things with Shannon. I don't know, I just don't like his vibe. I don't see him and Shannon lasting like over a week. As far as Ashley, she's got several suitors. Wale, Jason, Ralph. Jason wanted to go talk, but the poor man waited for her for a long time. But right now she's talking to Wale. She asks him, when does he want to start a family? And he says that realistically in the next 4 years. And she says, well, that's a very long time. He's like, no, what I mean is from now until 4 years. Like, we could start tomorrow. And they share a kiss. I really like to see Luanne and James together. They kind of crack me up. He gives her a gift. He didn't buy it. He stole it from the hotel's decorations. But I don't know. They just have this really fun chemistry that I enjoy seeing. So Adam chats with Gizelle about Shannon, and she gives him the advice that he should, straight up tell Shannon that he wants to get to know her and that he doesn't want to leave. But then he says that the fact that Luanne and Gizelle have had to give him advice is means something bad, because if Shannon liked him, then why wouldn't she tell him? And I don't know, Adam, you do know you're still the man in the relationship. Like, traditionally you still have to make a move, but it seems like he didn't really take anybody's advice, because we didn't really see him talk to Shannon much after that. So the sun goes down and it's time for the elimination. So Joel tells the men that they can give some final words, maybe a final plea, just whatever they want to say. So Jay begins, and he says that he will like to gracefully bow out. He says that this is the Love Hotel, and he was here experiencing the Friendship Hotel. So it's time for him to leave. Clearly, he was never really going to have a connection that, moved to the next level with Gizelle. And, surprisingly, Shannon cried a lot by this because Jay and Shannon had this beautiful friendship. Like, Shannon would give him advice for Gizelle, and he would give her advice for, like, whether it was with Earl or whatever. And that was really nice. He says that he found some amazing friends. He, respects every single person that's there. And honestly, Jay was a wonderful guy. Gizelle didn't like him because he wasn't a bad boy. Whatever, he'll find someone, I'm sure he will, and I really respect him for leaving gracefully. So Shannon is the first one, and she must give her key to who she wants to stay. So she says that she's been enjoying getting to know Adam. He's nice, but she can't not give her key to Earl. So it goes to Earl, and that made him very happy. Gizelle gives her key to Phil. Luanne gives her key to James. Pretty expected, but then it's time for Ashley to give her key. Now, mind you, 3 of the men that are waiting are 3 connections that Ashley has had. So, in regards to Wale, she says that she doesn't think she wants to have any more kids, but she loves their energy. Ralph, she calls him her silver fox and that she's been very attracted to him. So she decides to give her key to Ralph. Whoa. Man, I felt bad for Wale. Not because I dislike Ralph or because I don't think he and Ashley should be together or shouldn't be together, but I feel bad because he spent so much time with Ashley. Like, that's really the only person he's pursuing. Wale, that is. So Joelle then tells the women that there is actually an extra key that they can all, as women, decide who to give it with to save one more person. And the key goes to Wale. So he does stay, but I'm going to be honest, if I were him, I wouldn't want it. Because at that point, I would have clearly have seen that when it came down to making a decision, Ashley chose Ralph over him. And they've spent so much time together already. Like, is there really anything else that's going to make Ashley want Wale at this point? Probably not. But he stays, but that was that. So Adam and Jason leave the Love Hotel. So after that, everyone's kind of hanging out, talking or whatever, and Ashley goes up to Wale and she says, I was just thinking about you, and my fear is I could really fall in love with you. Now, Ashley, you are a player. And it's, like I said, it's fine if you don't like Wale, but stop, playing him and stringing him along. She did say that she likes Wale as a person, but she just is more physically attracted and lusting over Ralph. So I think that pretty much lets us know, not that we needed to be told, but Ashley has a type. She's into men that are of lighter skin complexion, and that's fine, but again, just don't play with another man, Ashley. So she then invites Ralph to her room, and they start to make out again, y'all, Ashley and Ralph. And again, he says, there are so many things I want to say to you, but I don't think it's appropriate. And she's like, well, what is it? Tell me. And he's like, I want to make love to you constantly. Oh my gosh. Ralph is dying to take it to the bedroom. He then grabs her. He growls because that's what he does when he's with her. And then she says that she's got her period. So he kind of leaves after that. So then it's a new day. Some people are working out. Others are having breakfast. Shannon actually had a very nice conversation with Wale because she knows how much he likes Ashley. So Ashley goes over to Gizelle's room and she wants to talk about Ralph. So Ralph and her have they've been very physical, and she tells Gizelle that the kisses are definitely very passionate for sure, but she don't really like the kisses that much. She says that it feels like she's kissing a lizard. His tongue isn't doing what she would like it to do. And I was like, oh my god, not a lizard. Now, we know why she told him she was on her period. That was a lie. She wanted him to get out. And she admits it. But I was thinking, I'm sure you can teach somebody how to kiss, no? So she then tells Gizelle about Wale, how she told him that she could fall in love with him, and how he wants kids, but Ashley's pretty much done with having kids, so that's a pretty big deal. Alright, a little bit later, everybody gets ready and they head out to the beach. The host is wearing nothing but a Speedo. I'm not sure why, but it's a dating pool, so it's new men in the mix who the women will get to know. Just the new men, the men that are already there, they're not here. They're back in the hotel. But these women are going to get to know these new men and, just get to know each other and see if there's anything they would like to explore. But then Joelle tells them that there is a man who left a little too early, so he's going to be brought back. And it was the old man named Mark, who looks like, I don't know, his fashion is kind of interesting. But the man came back and he says that he's here for Luanne and Luanne only. But Luanne is already into like 3 other new men. Y'all know how Luanne is. So Shannon's talking to a guy who happens to be a dentist, and she's going off about a root canal and all her teeth are dead. That's a crazy way to start a conversation. Ashley's being friendly, of course. Gizelle doesn't really seem to be attracted to none of them, but she's still asking important questions like, have you been married? Do you have kids? She was a little bit interested, though, as she was having these conversations with the dentist a little bit. Shannon didn't hit it off with any of the guys. She looked really good, by the way. But yeah, she doesn't like any of them. But as someone who is rooting for, Team Earl and Shannon, I'm glad she's not liking anyone. It seems like Ashley hit it off with this guy named Scott. He's younger, seems like her type. And she liked his energy. She likes that he's kind of chill, kind of like light, airy. He made her laugh quite a bit, which is good. But there was a man named Kelvin who was also into Ashley, and like he takes her away from Scott, which, as you should if you're trying to get to know someone. But I don't know, I feel like he was doing a little bit too much. Like let's make s'mores, Ashley. But yeah, I mean, she liked it. So the women talk about the men who they've talked to and who they're keeping. So after they talk, now they have to decide. But y'all, Luanne didn't give her key to Mark. She gave it to a guy named Mitch. And I was like, nah, y'all bringing back this guy to send him home again. Gizelle gave her key to the dentist, whose name is Jay also, by the way. Shannon, because she didn't like anyone, gave her key to Mark, which I thought it was hilarious. But she gave him the key for the sake of Luanne, because she didn't really like anyone. And Ashley didn't give it to anyone, though. So then the women and these new men that they've chosen go back to the hotel. Some of the guys are happy to see Mark back, like the ones that were there from day one. Luanne introduces Mark to James, and she's like, we've written a song together. And Mark is like, oh, great, like, let's hear it. So here go James and Luanne, 2 very different tunes, but they start singing, hanging at the Love Hotel, the Love Hotel, hanging at the Love Hotel. Listen, I don't care if it's just one line. Get this song on iTunes, please, because I will listen to it. But you guys, James, a little bit after this, is kind of going around telling people that Luanne is his girlfriend. And y'all, she did take him into her room, and she covers any camera that's in there. So what happened? Who knows? So then, to end the episode, Ashley talks to Wale again. She says that she's been talking to the girls about him and about us. And Wale says, are you trying to double back? And she says, like, what do you mean? And he says, are you going to change your mind about me? And Ashley says, well, the girls gave you a key. And he says, yeah, they gave me a key because they like me for you, but that doesn't have anything to do with you. She then says, I think I just hold myself back with you quite a bit because I don't know if I could, build the life with you that you deserve. And he's like, well, what's the worst case scenario in your mind? And she says, the worst case scenario is that we do date for a few years, but then eventually you want to have kids and I might not want to. So he says, so the major issue is that I want to have kids. And she's like, no, it's not an issue. It's not a problem that you want to have a family. Like, I don't think that. And he says, well, no, I don't think that you think that, but can you give me some grace when I speak, when I talk? You take it so negative, maybe I misspoke. And then they start going back and forth. They're arguing over, like, I didn't mean it like that. Yes, you did. Whatever. So then she gets up and leaves. And that was the end of the episode. So this was a fun episode. Nothing too exciting happened. Not not too much change. But Wale, like I said, you deserve better. Stop, like, I've gotta like be honest, like being so thirsty over somebody who's like not really into you, such like to me is a little bit of a bad look. You know what I'm saying? Like clearly she let you know that when it came down to it, she'd rather keep Ralph. So I don't know. We'll see what next week holds. I did see from the little preview that next week, Cynthia Bailey's in the house, and so are Shannon's daughters. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts were about this episode. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. Like I said, I'll catch y'all next time. Y'all have a great one. Bye.